Well, hello and welcome to the third of our interview series. This week we are speaking with two Zion preschool parents, Krista and Ashley, who have agreed to speak to us around the three questions that we are asking. So we'll jump right in. We'll get started with a brief introduction. Ashley, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are?
Great. My name is Ashley Throckmorton. I have 3 kids, so I'm a mom. And I would say that probably at this time in my life, that's really the thing that defines me. I have a 10-year-old, a 7-year-old, and a 4-year-old. And we have been at Zion since 2012. So my now 10-year-old started when she was 2. I am a stay-home parent right now. In my former life, I was a geologist. And I've got just this one last year with a preschooler at Zion. And then I think I'm gonna move on to my next thing, my next career. So
my name is Krista Roach, and I am also a mom to 3 kids. They are 10, 8, and 5. And we just graduated Zion, but we were there for 10 years. So I do work currently and part-time, and then mostly mom to the kids.
So my first question is around this question about what do you hunger for spiritually? So I'm going to then ask you, what do you hunger for on behalf of your family? But as you think about your own life and your own desires, what do you find that you hunger for? We'll start with Ashley.
So I think that I'm still kind of trying to answer that question. And really since like my early 20s, I feel like I've kind of been on a quest to try to understand how to feel fulfilled spiritually. I was raised in an Episcopal church and was pretty involved in my church until I was about a teenager. And then I kind of like had, a big falling out with all of that stuff, just through life events and through my background as a geoscientist, and called a lot of those things into question. So I know what I can say definitively is that in terms of my spirituality, I do have that hole and that hunger for that kind of greater thing that offers you just, love, just that fills that part of you that questions yourself about, am I worthy? Am I lovable? Am I a loved person? And I think that that's the thing that I've been searching for. That's kind of like that ever-present question of like, is that there? Do I feel that? Am I open to it? Can I be open to it? Will it speak to me? And I'm still kind of, searching for that, trying to stay open to feeling that and hearing that, and not necessarily through any particular sect of Christianity or any particular religion, but just trying to find it in that broader sense.
Along the lines of what Ashley was saying, we don't currently attend a church on a regular basis, and I do feel, I think my husband and I both feel a void. I don't know exactly what we're looking for. We were both raised Catholic. I don't know if that's the way we want to go, but we're searching, and yes, I don't know exactly what we're looking for though. So I guess when we find it, we'll know, but hopefully it's sooner than later.
Fair enough. Well, as we extend that question, as you think about your kids, what do you hunger for your children as you think about their life and who you want them to be and how you want them to be shaped? What do you hunger for your children? We'll start with Ashley again.
So my 10-year-old a couple of years ago came to me and told me, you know, that she was pretty sure that God didn't exist and that she didn't believe in God, you know, and she really thought that all of the stories were made up. And that was where she landed. And she went, you know, she went to Zion, and so she got introduced to kind of the foundation of Christianity, which was one of the reasons why we chose sending our kids to Zion Lutheran. And it really troubled me because she's not old enough to make that choice. She hasn't experienced enough of her life to answer that question. I haven't been able to answer that question, and I'm almost 40. So I wanted to, for my children's spirituality, it's important that they're introduced to a variety of ideas and concepts and religious practices and ways of thinking, perspective, in order to answer the question that we all kind of are trying to answer for ourselves, and what we hunger for in our spirituality, in order for them to have exposure so that they aren't making up their minds at a young age how they believe, what they believe, and that they have adults that are, even if they have made up their minds on what they believe and they have faith in one direction, that they understand that this is like this moldable, sculptable mind that is impressionable, and that you have to be careful with that, and offer them ideas or express to them the foundation of belief systems without pushing it on them, so that they can then explore their own spirituality. And that is certainly the thing that I want all of the kids to be able to kind of search for on their own, and have communities that surround them that understand the importance of that self-exploration.
Yeah, that's really lovely, Ashley. Thank you. What about for you, Krista, as you think about your kids and how you want them shaped? What do you hunger for them spiritually?
Like I mentioned before, we just finished our last year at Zion, and so I feel like the last 10 years they were part of a religious organization, and they really grew from it. And they each year they do the Vacation Bible School at the Luther Hill Ministries at Zion, and then we do other Bible schools, and those are always their favorite camps. And so I think my husband and I have got to figure something out with them, because they need something religious in their life, and they really thrive on it. I see how much they like it, and I think it's important because a church will show them how to be part of a community, the giving back, and we just want to try to raise respectable children and that have a purpose.
What would you change about church? Ashley, why don't you go first?
Oh, sorry. We kind of just had discussed this question before, and essentially, like my like very simple takeaway is for church to not be boring. I always thought as a kid that church was just horribly boring. Even when I went to like the kids, you know, the kids part of learning about, you know, my church growing up. I really couldn't tell you much about what I learned, to be honest. I mean, I've forgotten so many of those specific stories that I learned. And it just wasn't engaging. And even a couple of times I've tried with my kids, like we did like a Cub Scout camp over the computer with my kids. And part of that was listening to kind of a service. And it was just like, how long do we have to listen to this? And I'm like, I know this is not engaging. Like, they're not speaking to kids. They're not engaging you in any way. This is just kind of like this information that's important to them to convey to you, but not in a way that is engaging you. And I personally feel the same way, that if I go to church and we're talking about, the teachings of, this person, of this person, of this person, and it's conveyed in language that is antiquated and it is read and it is difficult to relate to, I am not engaged. And church then feels like a chore, particularly to bring my kids to, instead of something that I leave feeling kind of like spiritually fulfilled from, or even my children.
Not to totally piggyback off of Ashley, but at times I do agree with the boring aspect of it, and that was always something I battled as a child. And I can sit still, but not fully understanding all the concepts of what they're saying in church, and to really drag 3 kids to try to sit through a sermon at times is not always the easiest, and sometimes it is a chore. So I think we've got to find something to connect with, and I know that's how you're asking, how do we do that? How do we change it? I'm not sure. Yeah, we've got to find something more engaging for everyone, or more interesting way of sharing it, or the concept, or yeah.
I just want to end by saying that, being a part of the Zion Preschool for, a number of years, I love the community there. So we love being involved in all the other activities that the church puts on that, invites the preschool members to as well. We've thoroughly enjoyed all of those interactions.